In the last couple of videos I kept stressing how I don't want to lose momentum when it comes to practicing, but here I am after a week-long vacation and I definitely feel like I've forgotten everything. So the goal for right now is to get back into the groove and see how much worse and out of practice I am since last time. So it went about as well as expected. My singing is definitely worse than last time, but not all progress is lost. So I'll just try to keep improving over the next couple of days, and eventually I think it's going to be time to start texting people about potentially a show, so we'll see. There's some sort of spooky interaction going on between the Big Muff and this Jupiter Jive pedal. If I turn them on both at the same time, it gets to this. See, and even if the volume is just slightly above 0, it's still happening. So it's not like I'm over boosting into the muff or anything. It's just some sort of, I don't know. Right now they're both getting their power from the same daisy chain. I am using a power supply with isolated outputs, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm using a daisy chain. So I'll try to put either one of them on an isolated output and see if that helps. Moment of truth, I guess. Well, it's still there, so the next thing I can try is put something that has a buffer in it between the Jive and the Muff. I'll switch these two, I guess. Is it true bypass? Is there a switch? I don't know. I'll have to look it up. If this doesn't work, then I'll put it behind the wah, because I think this is definitely buffered. So according to the guide, for buffered bypass, you need top switch to the left. No, wait. I sometimes mix up my left and my right. If both switches are set to the left, it says it's true bypass. That's what it was originally, like this. If the top switch is set to the right, then that means it's buffered bypass, which is exactly what we want for this. And if both switches are set to the right, then you have buffered bypass and the display is always on, which could be useful, but then also it will not indicate whether the tuner is on or off, I guess. So it might be interesting to try that setting, but maybe not now. Alright, let's see. Well, it's still doing it. I'll try to put it before the wah just to make sure. Alright, none of that worked. I guess I'll try putting the Jive after the Big Muff. It will change the tone, of course, but let's just... I don't know. I'm just curious. Honestly, even if I can't fix it, it's not that big of a deal. As long as I'm playing notes, they sort of override the feedback. It can even be kind of useful to have this ability to just step on a pedal and produce this howling feedback. But, you know, it can also be a little bit annoying. Alright, let's try this. Well, there's no feedback anymore, but does it sound good still? It's a bit sandier sounding, but honestly I don't hate it. I've also been thinking about putting the Jive towards the end of the chain anyways, to act as a sort of preamp stage of an amp. Alright, it looks terrible, but I can make it neater later. But let's just see if this even works. I guess now it's time to get back to practicing. So I think the new battle sequence works well. I just need to make it tidier, like I said, but it sounds pretty good. And it feels like the practicing is paying off because, I don't know, I feel more comfortable with the songs and I think I'm singing a bit better. I think I'm getting to the point where it's sort of good enough. So yeah, I guess that's it for today. So originally today I wanted to work on this new project I've been thinking about. I'll talk more about it if I get to it, but first I think I need to tidy up that pedal board and then go through the set one more time because I'm still unhappy with my vocals. In the room everything sounds fine, but when I listen to the recordings there's just so many little inconsistencies and weird little bits. Maybe I just need to accept that this is the level I'm at, but at the same time I guess there's nothing wrong with trying to improve, so. Right, so I've just realized I brought the wrong kind of Velcro from home. I had two spools of it, and I guess one is the soft side and the other is the hook side. And I needed the hook side for the pedals, but that's the one that's still at home, so I'm an idiot, but that's okay. Right, so it's far from perfect and I still need to add Velcro to some of the pedals to get them to stay in place properly, but it's better. And I had space left over, so I added this DS1. Yeah, I just wanted to test it in this current setup and compare it to the Rat and stuff. But now that this is done, I can get back to practicing. Out of breath, out of step. Moving in, out of touch, out of line, freezing breath. Alright, so I have this telly here tuned to all F sharps, inspired by the likes of Sonic Youth and Glenn Branca. I rarely find time to pick it up, but when I do, it's usually very inspiring, so I want to jam on it some more until I have a few decent ideas and then maybe make an album out of them. I think it's fair to spend 2 days practicing the solo set and 1 day on new things, so I guess that's gonna be it for this week, and I'll close out with a jam.